This is the side view of the Volkswagen Amarok, guys. Looks very interesting. Over here is a 3-liter V6 engine, guys. The Alcantara right in the middle, like here and here. And then also on the side, you'd have some leather, exposed metal. Yes, everyone, it is right here, the all-new Volkswagen Amarok. Volkswagen has admitted defeat, everyone. And I say this because there was a time when the Volkswagen Amarok was first released. I believe that was in the very late 2000s. The Volkswagen Amarok dominated the Belgian roads. Here in Europe, the Volkswagen Amarok was one of the best-selling pickup trucks. What happened then? What happened? When I first saw this Volkswagen Amarok, I could tell it was a Ford Ranger. Because there's something about Volkswagen cars, you know, you can tell their designs. There's something, they have this really straight design and everything. But then if you look at this Volkswagen Amarok from certain angles, you can tell to yourself it's based on something rather American than something German. For the second generation Volkswagen Amarok, recently Volkswagen had something going on again with Ford. And this is not the first time they had something going on. The first time they had something going on was in the late 90s and in the early 2000s with the Ford Mondeo, Volkswagen Passat, and also I believe with the Volkswagen Charan and the Ford Galaxy. Now, I want to tell you all a small history about the Volkswagen Amarok. I want to remind you all that this is not the first time Volkswagen sought help from competitor models. Back in the 1980s, Volkswagen sought help from the Toyota with the Hilux, guys. Volkswagen rebadged the Toyota Hilux to sell here in the EU market with the hope that at least the pickup segment will be occupied and Toyota will have benefits because their product will be presented here in the EU market. It didn't sell very well here in the EU market. It failed instantly. And this is where I come to a new topic, guys. The Japanese 4x4s back in the 80s and 90s and in the early 2000s, they beated all the European competitors because they were offering better value for money and they were offering reliability. European competitors, on the other hand, just never built good 4x4s. To this day, Germans in particular have a curse of never being able to build a good 4x4, which is for farming or which is cheap to afford. We're talking below the price of 50,000 euros, guys. I'm very surprised, guys. Volkswagen was quick to develop its own electric cars. They were quick to develop a lot of new cars to compete in the EU market. So I'm surprised. Why didn't they do the same amount of effort for their pickup trucks? Why did they need Ford's help for this? Come on. But anyways, we're gonna get on with the review, guys, and see if this Volkswagen is swag enough, like a real Volkswagen. Or we'll see if this is still a Ford Ranger. Now, this Volkswagen Amarok costs 61,000 euros. Is this good value for money or not? We're gonna find out in a moment, guys. Let's get on with the review right now. Right, guys, this is the exterior design of the Volkswagen Amarok. I have to say it is very interesting what Volkswagen has done. So the front has some strong resemblance to the Volkswagen Touareg. It's very cool. And you get a reminder that this is a V6 engine. I'd say it reminds me more of the Volkswagen Atlas. The Volkswagen Atlas is a model they sell only in the North American market. So this is the side view of the Volkswagen Amarok, guys. From here, I see some resemblance to the last generation. Like from a side view, if you look at it from the side, it really does resemble the last generation to some extent. It's like how Volkswagen has maintained the design like this, guys. Very interesting. But then upon closer inspection, like especially when you look at it from certain angles, you can tell that it's got something that Volkswagen would never do. And this is why I concluded that this is a Ford Ranger, basically. And you do get air vents right here, guys. Wow. Nice air vents. Ford could do it with the Ranger, so can Volkswagen Amarok. They can also do it with the Amarok. Look at this, they've written Amarok on the back. I mean, I feel like this was a bit, okay, why not? But otherwise, I like the rear design. The rear design is like a typical Volkswagen utility vehicle. So I've noticed this with the Caddy and with the Crafter and with the Transporter. They always have this sort of rear light. And then you get this nice design right here at the rear. And you do get a rear view camera at least, so that's a plus for the parking, and you do get rear parking sensors, guys. That's really good addition right there. And you get a reminder right here that this is a 4Motion. This is Volkswagen's four-wheel drive system. But then I'm a bit suspicious because is it really Volkswagen's system or is it the Ford Ranger's system. I'm not sure whose system is it, guys, but whoever's it is, it's still useful for the winter. Over here is a 3-liter V6 engine, guys. Obviously not bought for economic values, but just because this engine is from Ford, it does not really mean it's that questionable. It means it's just as capable as the Ford Ranger, guys. Good utility and probably just as reliable, guys. And also, you do get the German styling for the exterior, so American engine with a German bodywork. Kind of reminds me of Opel of the 1980s. That's right, everyone. We're talking 3-liter engine V6. And this 3-liter engine V6 produces 177 kilowatts, guys. Wheels of the Volkswagen Amarok. Very interesting. Like now, it reminds me of the Ford Ranger big time because of the 6 spokes, guys. You can tell that this is something the Germans would never do. 6 spokes, black alloy mixed with some shiny alloy on top. Wonderful. This is basically a traditional Volkswagen wheel. But then I've also noticed that the pickup truck segment has a thing for the center being in black, and then the rest on the side would be in shiny alloy. Another questionable aspect I'd like to remark, guys, is that there's no 360-degree parking camera. For a price of 61,000 euros, I would have expected it to be present. Another questionable aspect I'd like to remark, guys, is that you do not get a step or anything to climb into the interior. So yes, I just want to point out I'm very impressed with the attempt to make it Volkswagen-ish, guys. So first of all, you get the electric seating adjustments right here with the lumbar support. Wonderful. And then I just like how they did the presentation overall. So when you enter a Volkswagen, first thing you get is these typical seating, guys. So Volkswagen has a thing for this sort of seats, okay? Volkswagen always likes to put Alcantara right in the middle, like here and here. And then also on the side you'd have some leather. Although on top you do get some lighter tone Alcantara. Very interesting what's going on. And then you get the white stitching. This is tradition of Volkswagen. I think that's where you get the most Volkswagen aspect. Now the steering wheel as well, guys. Volkswagen has done a great job with the steering wheel to make it more Volkswagen-ish, if you know what I'm saying, guys. It reminds me of something you'd see in the Transporter as well. Very interesting. But now I cannot say the same thing about the rest of the interior, and we're going to talk about why. First impression about the interior. It reminds me of the Ford Ranger Raptor, and it reminds me also of the Ford Ranger equally. And I have to say, is this questionable or not? Yes, it is questionable if identity is your thing, and if you were expecting to feel like you're driving a Volkswagen, or if you expect to feel like you're driving something German. But no, it's not questionable if you just want a pickup truck from Volkswagen. Interior of the Volkswagen Amarok, guys, it's got a very similar layout to the Ford Ranger. So, massive screen right here. Well, I call this a tablet. Over here, basic controls, guys. Now, I believe your climate control would be in the system, guys. It's all in the infotainment system. Now, down here, 12-volt socket, USB points, guys, and you get a little place to put your phone. Okay. Interesting. Gear lever right here. Now this is interesting. It's exactly like what I saw in the Ford Ranger. Parking brake right here. And these are your off-road controls, guys. So you get a 2-wheel drive. Now 4-wheel drive A, I believe this is the A is supposed to indicate that it's automatic. So it will decide for you what's the appropriate system to use in the situation. And I believe it depends on the traction of the wheel. If the system determines that the wheel is slipping too often, it will engage a different system that's appropriate for the terrain it's on. That's my hypothesis, okay? Because that's what I saw in the Ford Ranger, the Raptor. So I'm expecting it to be a similar principle for the Volkswagen Amarok. Digital instrument cluster, everyone. Wonderful. And then you get the other lighting controls right here. And then as for the rest of the interior, I like how you get this brief touch of wood right here. There's a wooden trim just right next to the central lock button. And the window controls, mirror controls right here, surrounded by chrome. Very, very nice, guys. And your door handles right here. It's just like the Ford Ranger, guys. But what I really like is the materials the door is lined with, guys. You get leather, and you get this sort of trim right here. This is a nice hard plastic trim right here. And I like how you get this touch of wooden trim on this particular storage right here, guys. Now, what's very Volkswagen-ish about this interior is the sharp edges, guys. Everything is all sharp-edged, and it's got this sort of design. Like, this is the most Volkswagen thing ever, guys. All right? This is like something Volkswagen would do about the interior. The layout is Ford's. It's the Ford Ranger, but the designs, like if you look at the way that things are designed, Volkswagen tried to make it look like other Volkswagen utility vehicles. Little storage right up here, guys. And now let's check out these storage spaces. So you get a little storage space right in there. Very practical. And you get a storage space in here. Wonderful. It's as good as it has to be for its price and segment, guys. And you get some additional storage space in the center right here. Now this is very deep, guys. It's very deep, but it's a bit narrow. Not as big as I was expecting it to be. But hey, you all be the judge. Otherwise you get 2 cup holders right here. Extra storage space up here, guys. Wow. I also noticed some questionable aspects, guys. The first obvious questionable aspect I'm going to point out is that, yes, it doesn't really scream Volkswagen to me. I mean, the steering wheel looks very Volkswagen-ish, and the seats look like they're definitely from a Volkswagen, but the rest of the interior is obvious that it's Ford's work. Now, I believe that the idea of Volkswagen doing this was to reduce production cost, because it costs a lot of money to produce and develop a new model. So when you do a rebadge from another car manufacturer, you save a lot of money, which is good for Volkswagen, guys. Volkswagen saved a lot of money in doing this, but why has cost saving now become a thing when Volkswagen was happy to work on many electric cars or many new models? You know, there's a bit of contradiction I see right here, guys. On one hand, Volkswagen wanted to budget, but then on the other hand, Volkswagen desperately wants to compete. Another questionable aspect I like to remark, guys, is that this whole area looks as if Volkswagen didn't do any efforts to make it its own work. For instance, I could tell easily that these controls come directly from the Ford Ranger. Volkswagen didn't do anything to make it its own design. And this door handle obviously comes from the Ford Ranger, guys. For a price of 61,000 euros, there's no sunroof or panoramic roof, guys. I'm under the impression that for a price of 61,000 euros, there doesn't seem to be much going on over here in this area. I would expect it to be a little bit more busy with buttons or additional options. Nothing really new about the rear seats, guys. It's exactly what I saw in the Ford Ranger Raptor, and equally what I would expect to see in the Ford Ranger. Yeah, it's good. It's as good as it has to be, guys. It's very interesting. Just the only difference is that the seats look very premium. That it looks exactly like other Volkswagen cars, guys. So a blend of Alcantara and the leather. Most importantly, let's check the back space, guys. There's no such thing as boot space with the Volkswagen Amarok, but there is a such thing, such as payload for the back, guys. Trailer hitch hook. Now that's what's also important. So let's see if this Volkswagen Amarok has what it takes to prove that it's worthy. So over here, guys, this is the back space of the Volkswagen Amarok. Now it is optional, I believe, to have some different material for the back space instead of having exposed metal. It's already questionable to me that for a price of 61,000 euros you get exposed metal everywhere. Yes, that's and I believe this would have been for an extra option. You see this place that looks like it's been patched? I believe that would have been for an extra option, but to just admire how lightweight this rear door is. In fact, it's just like the Ford Ranger Raptor, guys. My conclusion of the Volkswagen Amarok is that this is a new chapter for Volkswagen, because this is a new generation for Volkswagen, and this could hint that there will be further collaborations between Volkswagen and Ford, everyone. For a price of 61,000 euros, is this Volkswagen Amarok good value for money or not? I have to say that this Volkswagen Amarok is okay value for money, guys. I cannot say it's the best pickup truck in today's generation. It's one of the best attempts made by Volkswagen to compete in the pickup truck segment. Volkswagen has selected a reliable partner, a good, desirable partner for the pickup truck quest. But I believe that Volkswagen should have invested its own efforts as well. They should have done more about the pickup truck of theirs. Because right now it looks very obvious to everyone that this is a Ford Ranger. It was too obvious. The interior looked exactly like what I saw before. And then also the rear seats, guys. Everything about it was too similar. My opinion of this Volkswagen Amarok: I love this Volkswagen Amarok, guys. This Volkswagen Amarok is a big embarrassment, but at the same time, I love it because sometimes it's not always about being perfect at everything. Sometimes you just have to be, you know, yeah, like just think of new ideas, do something different that nobody would do. All right, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run, guys. Don't forget to check the links in the description for my car reviews, travel videos, and my creativity videos, everyone. And please let me know in the comments what you all think of this Volkswagen Amarok. Do you all like this Volkswagen Amarok, or do you all prefer the Ford Ranger, or do you all prefer competitor models?